Okay, let's start with motor theories. These theories are related to the motor games. These are models that claim explain or interpret the origin and function of such manifestations, sometimes so natural and always so cultural. However, they have not yet solved the problem of the formulation of a single theory capable of satisfying scholars and researchers. It is therefore necessary to frame that the set of beliefs into groups such as a classical view and the modern view on the game to provide a frame of reference. Prior to modern game concepts as they are understood. Not all theories define the concept of play in the same way, and even sometimes they do not share the same idea or function. So it is necessary, very necessary, to know them, to know all of them. At first, we have the classical theories. They are considered classic because they have remained for many years, being the fundamental reference on the explanation of the game. Then there are the modern theories. These show the currents of thoughts of our time, referring to the origin and explanation of the game. The two groups of theories mentioned above can be listed according to the science or discipline that supports the physiological theory. Theories of the motor game are necessary and useful for the professionals of the education, and specifically physical education. They will facilitate the acquisition of skills needed to understand the characteristics of the game that, according to Huizinga, are freedom and not implication of compulsion to pleasure for the implementation of certain activities. Superfluousness and without consequences practices in the child who plays, the determination in the space and in the time of execution, and where it is performed. The build classifications have always been the result of currents of thought related to physical education. The game must have various modes according to the complexity governing in your organization. The degree requires the participants and the capacities to develop. Therefore, by understanding the game as an organized activity, you can see the multiplicity of typologies of games, organized according to a main idea, and with always disparate objectives. Therefore, the game can be classified and organized according to the different basic guidelines. The scientific classification divides into Bolher, Piaget, Gross, Moyles, and Parlevas. Other useful classifications for programming in physical education have been established based on various factors that affect the class group when they play games or other things. Trigueros establishes sensory games as adequate means and resources of the game to be developed. Otherwise, Navarro proposed a classification of games based on the group dynamics, depending on the participation and communication of the motor situation. But without a doubt, the compilation carried about by Blasquez completes the previous ones since it is based on the motor situation of the students when they play. So, the classification of motor games would be the social dimension, the degree of the participation, the energetic, depending on the difficulty, depending on the effect, and depending on the movement. As the last point of this activity, we have the game cards. These are tools used by all kinds of physical educators to manage their class sessions or trainings or whatever activities they have. There are several examples of the application of these tools, but I think one of the most famous ones or well known might be the routines used by the physical trainers used to train high performance athletes or professional athletes.